Tenali Raman was famous for his sharp mind, but intellect alone doesn't light a dark path. He was beginning a long, isolated journey through a dense forest, a route notoriously controlled by violent bandits. Soon into his trek, a stranger hurried up beside him. The man claimed to be terrified of the forest thieves and asked to travel by Raman's side for safety. Raman agreed, but he was already observing the man closely. By watching the stranger's shifting eyes and overly eager demeanor, Raman deduced the truth instantly. He was walking directly alongside one of the forest thieves. Most people would panic, attempt to run, or confront the threat. Raman did none of that. He simply offered a calm, polite smile and welcomed the company. If you know exactly who the threat is, why would you let them stay close? The answer reveals how absolute calm can be a weapon of its own. The two men walked until dusk, eventually stopping at a roadside rest house to settle in for the night. Once they lay down, a stark contrast emerged. Raman closed his eyes and drifted into a peaceful, deep sleep. Once they lay down, however, stayed wide awake, consumed by his own plans. In the dead of night, the thief crept over to the sleeping Raman. He methodically searched through the traveler's bag, expecting to find a heavy pouch of coins. But his hands found nothing. The bag was completely empty. This made no sense to him. Every traveler on this road carried money, and he knew Raman was no exception. The thief's greed had given him tunnel vision. He expected an easy victim, but Raman's silent preparation had left him searching for an answer that simply wasn't there. By the second night, they were resting in a large stone hall. By the second night, desperate. He knew Raman had money. He had watched him pay for tea earlier that afternoon. When midnight struck, the thief tried again, tearing through Raman's bag with frantic urgency. Yet the outcome was exactly the same: 0 coins. The next morning, the two travelers stopped at a roadside stall for fresh, tender coconuts. Without a hint of hesitation, Raman reached casually into the exact same bag the thief had searched just hours prior and effortlessly pulled out a handful of coins to pay the vendor. The thief reached his breaking point. Unable to explain what he had seen, he completely reached his disguise, confessed his true identity, and begged Raman to reveal where the money had been hidden. Raman hadn't needed to fight or flee. By letting the situation play out, he allowed the thief's own uncontrollable frustration to force a surrender. Raman looked at the exhausted bandit and smiled. The safest place to hide the money, he explained, was actually inside the thief's own bag. Here is how the trick worked. Raman only pretended to sleep, waiting until the thief dozed off first. Once the room was quiet, Raman quietly transferred his pouch of coins straight into the thief's bag. Later, the thief woke up to execute his plan. He searched Raman's empty bag, found nothing, and went back to sleep in total frustration, never thinking to check his own belongings. Before the sun rose, Raman woke up one last time and quietly retrieved his money, placing it back in his own bag for the day's journey. The logic relied on a specific psychological blind spot. Raman calculated that a person focused entirely on taking from others will rarely think to check their own pockets. As the ashamed thief ran away, it reinforced a final lesson. When facing danger, panic is a liability. It is calm, deliberate wisdom that defeats blind greed.